I was anonymously warned that my wife was going to a party with a couple, and I hid, all the while waiting for her to go in with him to catch her cheating red-handed. Be me, 29 years old, living what most would call a perfect life, working as construction management supervisor, making good money, living comfortable life in Denver. Have a nice house in one of those fancy suburban neighborhoods. 2 beautiful kids with my wife Christine. Everything seems perfect on the surface. Until last weekend happened. Life basically exploded in my face at neighbor's summer garden party. Never thought I'd be writing this, but here we are. Our neighbor Oliver throws this big annual summer celebration. Everyone in neighborhood shows up, always has this fancy costume theme going on. Christine, my wife, absolutely loves these parties. Goes all out planning our costumes every year. Like seriously, she gets obsessed with it. This year, she wanted us to go as Romeo and Juliet. Had everything planned out months in advance. Ordered authentic Renaissance outfits, even got special props and everything. Spent weeks practicing poses and quotes. Here's where things get interesting. 2 weeks before party, Christine suddenly changes her mind. Wants to go as Greek goddess instead. Says Romeo and Juliet theme is too cliche. Claims it wouldn't win costume contest anyway. Would have been whatever. Except I knew the real reason. My buddy Thomas had been dropping hints for weeks. He's that guy who somehow knows everyone's secrets. Like some neighborhood information wizard. Tells me Christine's been talking about some guy named Richard. Guy from her workplace. Apparently he's the most amazing person ever. According to her at least. Thomas even caught them having intimate conversation. At some fancy downtown bar during office happy hour. Said the body language was pretty obvious. He didn't want to cause drama, but knew I needed to hear it. And man, was he right about that. But it wasn't just Thomas's warning. Little things kept piling up everywhere. Christine started having these endless work meetings. Almost every other day, always running super late. Every single one absolutely couldn't be missed. Her phone became like glued to her hand. Literally wouldn't put it down for a second. Always texting with this weird little smile. The kind she used to have only for me. Made my stomach turn every time I saw it. But couldn't say anything without starting a fight. When I asked what was so funny, she'd get all defensive and weird. Like I was interrogating her or something. Had an excuse ready for absolutely everything. Each one more ridiculous than the last. Fast forward to Oliver's party. Place is packed with people. Music playing, drinks flowing. Christine's wearing this elaborate Greek goddess costume. Complete with gold sandals. Flowing white dress. Golden laurel crown in her hair. Meanwhile, I'm standing there. Looking ridiculous in half-finished Romeo costume. Didn't even bother with most of it. Just threw on some old Renaissance shirt. Feeling like complete idiot. Spent most of night pretending to laugh at stupid jokes. Trying to act normal. Like everything was fine. Even though it wasn't. People keep asking where Christine is. Can't even answer them. Because that's the thing. She's barely been around me all night. Keeps disappearing every few minutes. About hour into party. See her talking to Oliver's wife, Victoria. They're whispering about something. Looking all secretive. Then Christine just slips away. Goes through back door of house. Like she's trying not to be noticed. Had this weird feeling in my gut. Like something was seriously wrong. Alarm bells going off in my head. I'm not usually jealous type. But when your wife keeps avoiding you at party, where you're supposed to be together, dressed as matching characters, acting like perfect couple, pretty hard to ignore. Made up some excuse about needing fresh air. Nobody even noticed me leaving. Followed same path she took. Heart pounding in my chest. Oliver's house has this fancy garden area in back. Beyond that is this huge storage shed, where they keep lawn equipment and stuff, usually locked during parties. But not this time. Walking past it, notice door slightly open. Hear voices inside. Quiet, whispering. Could feel my pulse racing in neck, like it was trying to burst out. Hands starting to shake. Wasn't sure if I should listen, or just burst right in. Stand there for what feels like forever. Felt like I was about to walk into something straight out of Nightmare. Push door open slowly, hands trembling, feeling sick to my stomach. And there they are. Richard, the hilarious work buddy, leaning against storage shelf, looking way too comfortable. Christine whispering something to him, both of them laughing quietly, like they're sharing some private joke. They don't even notice me at first. Stand there for solid 5 seconds. Time literally stops. World goes silent. 5 seconds that felt like eternity. Where all those doubts, all those suspicions, everything just crystallizes into pure rage and disbelief. Can't even breathe properly. Then she looks up. Face goes pale like ghost. All color drains away. Like she's seen death itself. Everyone freezes. Nobody moves. Nobody breathes. Air in that shed turns to ice. Can barely process what I'm seeing. Brain refusing to accept it. Can't think of anything clever to say. No cool reaction comes to mind. Just pure raw emotion. So I just say it. Clear as day. Are you fucking kidding me, Christine? Voice doesn't even sound like mine. Richard tries to act casual, like this is totally normal. Puts his hands up, in this stupid defensive way, like he's surrendering. Hey man, it's not what you think. Classic line, like straight from bad movie. Christine just stands there, jaw clenched tight, eyes darting everywhere, looking for escape route, like trapped animal. You'd think she'd have something to say, some excuse ready to go, something to explain this away. But she just stutters, can barely form words, blurts out, it's just not what? I shoot back. Words sharp as knives, voice ice cold, don't even recognize myself. Then in most dismissive tone imaginable, she looks at me and says, don't make a scene, Andrew. Uses my full name, like I'm some child. That's what she cared about, making a scene, not fact that she got caught. Sneaking off with this douchebag, in his matching Greek god costume, complete with golden laurel crown, like some pathetic couple. Not fact that I was standing there, feeling like my world just got destroyed, everything crumbling around me. Nope, she was worried about what people at party might think, about their precious reputation, about their perfect image. Before I know it, voice gets louder than intended. Oh, don't worry, Christine. Almost shouting now. I won't make a scene. I'll just let everyone know. What a loyal wife you are. Words dripping with sarcasm, hands shaking with rage. Voice must have carried, echo through the garden. Few seconds later, hear people rushing over, footsteps on gravel path, getting closer, like watching movie in slow motion, where your life falls apart, frame by painful frame. Oliver comes running in, out of breath, party music still playing in distance. Looks at Richard, then at me, just goes, dude, what the hell's going on? Like he already knows, but needs to hear it. In that moment, have a choice to make. Keep this quiet, deal with it later, or let the dam burst. No more secrets, no more lies. So I tell him, tell everyone standing around, growing crowd at the door. What I walked into, every painful detail. That's when real fireworks started. Like bomb going off, as soon as words leave my mouth. Whole house seems to suck in collective breath. Everyone goes silent. People start whispering, eyes darting back and forth. From me to Christine, like watching tennis match, but with broken marriage instead of ball, like they're waiting for next line. In some twisted soap opera, Christine's face turns crimson, bright red shame flooding her cheeks, can almost see her brain spinning, trying to find way out, searching for perfect excuse. But she's not fast enough. Can't spin this one away. Richard, this smug idiot, steps forward, still playing hero, like he's going to be peacemaker. Andrew, listen. I know how this looks, but we were just talking. Same old excuse. Holds up his hands again, like that's going to somehow diffuse this whole situation. Make everything okay. Look him dead in eyes. Talking, really? Voice steady but cold. Then why are you out here? Hiding in storage shed? Away from everyone else? Each word like bullet, my voice steady, but insides feel like fire, burning with rage and betrayal, daring him to keep lying. Right to my face, Christine steps in front of him, like human shield, blocking my line of sight. Andrew, stop. Voice shaking. You're blowing this way out of proportion. She hisses through gritted teeth, mascara starting to run. The nerve of her. Can't believe what I'm hearing. Acting like I'm the problem, like catching your wife, sneaking off with another guy, in middle of party, is just some minor inconvenience. Out of proportion? I repeat. Voice sounds strange. Let out bitter laugh. You ditch me. Sneak out here with him. And I'm supposed to pretend like this is nothing? Blood pounding in ears. Before she can respond, Oliver's wife Victoria shows up. Right on cue. Victoria has this sixth sense for drama, like she can smell it. Could tell she'd been waiting for something to explode all night. She strolls in, eyes flickering between us. Me, Christine, and Richard, taking mental notes. What's going on here? Uses this calm but nosy tone, like she hasn't already pieced together half of it. Christine opens mouth to speak, but I don't give her chance. Caught my wife here, having little private chat with her work buddy Richard, sneaking around, whispering like teenagers. Voice comes out harsh, like broken glass, words sharper than intended. But no turning back now. Christine visibly flinches, like each word hits her. Victoria's eyebrows shoot up, almost disappear into hairline. That's when I realize more people gathering at door. Whole party seems to be here, craning necks to catch glimpse of whatever drama unfolding, like audience at theater. Richard still trying to play it cool, looking so pleased with himself. Throws up quick sheepish grin, like this is all just big misunderstanding, like we're all overreacting. We were just talking, he repeats, like broken record. Because apparently, that's best he can come up with. Dude looked like he'd rehearsed this line, 100 times in mirror, practiced in bathroom, prepared for this moment, and was sticking to his script. No matter what, Christine losing her composure, throws hands up in frustration, like she's been wronged, eyes welling up with tears. Mascara starting to run, snaps at me. Why are you doing this, Andrew? Can we just talk about this in private? Voice trembling with anger. And something else, maybe fear. Can't believe what I'm hearing. Now she wants privacy, after sneaking off into freaking storage shed with this guy. Private, Christine? Almost shouting now. You haven't been private about anything with me. For months. Words just pouring out, practically yelling. Can't stop myself. All that frustration, all that pain, finally boiling over, like volcano erupting. That's when she drops the mask, completely changes. Face twists into this look, this condescending sneer. Never seen it before. Don't even recognize her. Oh, so now you're playing victim? She spits words at me. You've barely even been here, Andrew. Always working late, or out with your buddies. Voice dripping with venom, like she's been saving this. Been waiting to unload this speech for months now. Practicing it in her head. For context, I work in construction management, running big projects, supervising crews. My hours are unpredictable. Sometimes early mornings, sometimes late nights. But it's not like I'm out partying every night. Most nights I come home, eat whatever's in fridge, and crash on couch. Because job drains me completely. Working 12-hour days, sometimes longer. And yeah, maybe I wasn't super attentive. Could have done better. But damn, didn't think I needed to put GPS tracker on my wife to keep her from sneaking off with some random dude. Don't even try that. Fire back at her, voice shaking with anger. I'm working to keep this family going while you're out here, playing dress up with Richard in someone else's storage shed. Her face contorts, like I slapped her. Anger turns into something sharper, almost vindictive. Pure hatred in her eyes. You're never around, Andrew, she retorts, voice dripping with bitterness. Like poison. I'm practically raising these kids. By myself, while you're off, doing whatever you want. Each word like knife. That was low blow, and she knew it. Using kids as weapon, making me the bad guy. Could see Richard shifting awkwardly in his stupid costume, like he wanted to vanish into thin air. Good. Let him be uncomfortable. Let him squirm. Victoria stood there, eyes wide as saucers, taking everything in, looking like she was mentally taking notes for her gossip circle, already planning who to tell first. Wow, I say, shaking head in disbelief. So that's your excuse? I'm busting my ass to provide for this family, and you think that justifies sneaking around behind my back? Voice getting louder. Can't control it anymore. Before she could answer, Victoria jumps in. Because why not? Add more fuel to fire. Christine, she mutters. Just loud enough for everyone to hear. This isn't first time. You've been seen with him. Drops bomb like it's nothing. My stomach drops. Feel physically sick. Room gets even quieter. If that's possible. Victoria's words linger, like cigarette smoke, making whole thing reek of betrayal, stinking up the air. Christine whips head toward Victoria, eyes wide with panic, like deer in headlights. What are you talking about? She demands, voice high and tight, but there's no denying it. Everyone in room can tell. There's something more going on, much more than just tonight. Then Richard, this absolute genius, decides to chime in, trying to sound all noble, like some kind of hero. Victoria, this isn't any of your business. Voice all self-righteous, takes step forward, like he owns the place, places hand on Christine's shoulder, like he has any right to even touch her. Blood boiling in my veins. My fists clench involuntarily, knuckles turning white. For a split second, actually consider decking him, right there in shed, in front of everyone. But I don't. Hold myself back, because I'm not giving him, or Christine, satisfaction of turning me into crazy jealous husband. Get your hands off my wife. Say it low and steady, like warning shot. Richard hesitates, looking between me and Christine, like he's not sure. What's going to happen next? Waiting to see who moves first. She doesn't move, doesn't push him away, just stands there, letting him touch her, which tells me more than anything else could have. Shows exactly where we stand. Oliver finally makes his way into storage shed, pushing through crowd. Having heard commotion, doesn't even ask questions, just stares at Christine and Richard. With this look, pure disappointment. This disapproving expression, that says everything. Christine, he says quietly, shaking his head, like parent scolding child. It was single word, but carried so much weight. Years of friendship, trust destroyed. All gone now. That's when Christine finally breaks. Strong, dismissive facade cracks. Like broken mirror, she starts to cry. Not that dramatic sobbing you see in movies, not the kind that gets sympathy, where it's all theatrical and heart-wrenching. No Oscar performance here, but this silent, angry cry, tears streaming down. Ruining her perfect makeup, makes her look like she's desperately trying to hold on to whatever control she thinks she has left, but it's all slipping away. She turns toward me, makeup running down her face, reaches out, like she's going to touch my arm. "Andrew, please." Voice barely working. "Let's just go home and talk about this," she pleads, voice shaking like autumn leaf in wind. "Talk about what, Christine?" Ask while taking step back, moving away from her touch. What's left to talk about? Words feel heavy, like stones in my mouth. At that moment, feel something break inside, like glass shattering. It wasn't just betrayal, wasn't just the lies, wasn't just embarrassment. It was realization that this whole time, Christine had been someone else entirely. Perfect wife mask falling off, a stranger wearing my wife's face, someone I never really knew, someone I couldn't trust. Walk out a shed without another word. Don't look back, can't look back, feeling like I'm leaving. More than just party behind, leaving whole life behind. Don't even stop to see if she's following me. Don't care anymore. Push through crowd of partygoers who had been eavesdropping, all pretending they weren't listening. Feel weight of their stares, their judgment, their pity, and whispers, like pressure building in back of my head, getting louder with each step. Get outside finally. Warm June night air hits me, like walking into wall, like slap to face, feels almost tropical. Only thing keeping me grounded, only thing that feels real, make my way to car, legs moving automatically. Hear Christine calling my name, voice echoing in darkness, but don't turn around. Can't turn around. Won't give her satisfaction. If I did, know I'd see her standing there, in that Greek goddess costume. Makeup running down face, crown crooked on head. Not sure I could handle that. Right then, might break completely. Get in car. Slam door shut. Sound echoes in quiet night. Just sit there for a moment. Time seems to stop. Gripping steering wheel until knuckles turn white. Hands shaking bad. Feel like I'm on verge of either breaking down or losing my mind completely. Maybe both at once, but don't do either. Just sit there, frozen in time. Just drive. Engine roars to life. Drive feels like blur. Streets all look same. Don't even remember which streets I took or red lights I might have run. Everything's hazy, like body moving on autopilot, while mind keeps replaying everything that just happened over and over again. Hands gripping wheels so hard, they actually ache. Knuckles pure white. Shed scene keeps looping. In my head, every single word, every expression, every sneer Christine threw my way, playing on repeat, and that look on Richard's face, so smug, so confident. Like he was trying so hard to stay cool, but deep down he knew he'd just blown up my life, destroyed everything. Finally get home. House dark and quiet, empty and cold, like nothing had happened. Kids at grandparents' place for a long weekend. Thank God for that. Couldn't face them now, so at least no explaining to do there. Not yet anyway. Walk into our bedroom, feet heavy like lead. Everything looks so normal, mockingly normal. The bed still made, picture frames still perfect. Photos of happy times, her expensive perfume bottle, still on dresser, like they all betrayed me too. Don't turn on lights, can't face reality yet? Just sit on edge of bed, springs creaking under weight, stare at wall. Listen to ticking of that fancy vintage clock, the one she had to have. Christine insisted we buy it. Last year, spent fortune on it because it had character, whatever that means. Phone buzzes, breaks silence. It's Christine. Of course it is. Texts coming in rapid fire, one after another, like machine gun. Andrew, please let me explain. I'm sorry. Can we talk? Please. I'm coming home now. Don't leave. Messages keep coming. Won't stop. Turn phone face down. Can't look anymore. Not wanting to see any more of her words, her lies, but silence is worse. Much worse. House too quiet. Without her fake reassurances, without her presence, too loud with thoughts. Racing through my head. Can't escape them. Keep seeing her, standing in that shed, with Richard, his hand on her shoulder, pretending like she didn't care, that her husband just walked in on them, looking so casual about it. Every time close my eyes, it's there, playing on repeat, like some cruel glitch. In my memory, that won't go away, stuck on endless loop. About hour later, Hear door slam downstairs. Whole house shakes. Her footsteps echo through hallway. Click of sandals on hardwood. Slower than usual. Almost hesitant. Like she's scared. She calls out, "Andrew, are you home?" Voice sounds strange. Her voice trembling. But has this undertone of anger beneath it. Like she's holding back. Like she's the one who's been wronged. Can't believe her nerve. Unbelievable. Actually making herself victim. Finally makes her way. To bedroom. Takes forever. Standing in doorway. Arms crossed. Still half-dressed. In that ridiculous costume. Greek goddess gone wrong. Makeup completely smudged. Eyes red from crying. Black streaks down face. She looks like complete mess. Total train wreck. But not the kind that made me want to comfort her. Like it used to. More like the kind that made me wonder how I ever believed her act for so long. How I was so blind. She takes deep breath. Chest heaving. Starts speaking. "Andrew, listen. This isn't what you think. Stop." Cut her off immediately. Voice ice cold. Don't even look at her. Just stop. "Andrew, please. Let me explain." Begging now. "I don't need your explanations." "Christine, say it." Voice completely dead. "I saw enough." Nothing left to explain. She walks over. Tries to sit next to me. On bed. Like everything's normal. But I get up immediately. Create distance between us. Can't be near her. Feels like she's polluting. Air around me. Just by being there. Can't breathe properly. Not ready to hear. Whatever she's going to spin next. Whatever lies she's prepared. But she keeps pushing. "Andrew, you're blowing this way out of proportion," she says, voice getting louder, tone growing more defensive. "We had one argument, and you're blowing up our entire life over it. Like I'm overreacting. One argument? Repeat words. Can't believe what I'm hearing. More out of shock than anything. Are you kidding me, Christine?" Voice shaking with rage. "This isn't just one argument. This is about you. Sneaking around with Richard. Lying to me, and then blaming me. When you got caught." Each word cuts like knife. There's silence on her end. Few seconds of nothing. Then she says, "I told you nothing happened. We were just talking." "Stop lying, Christine." Snap back at her. Can barely control anger. Feel it boiling over again. Even if nothing physical happened. You crossed a line. And you know it. Voice getting louder. "You're being dramatic." She shoots back. Full defensive mode now. Defensiveness rising in voice. "I told you I was feeling alone. And you just ignored that. So I turned to someone else. Who actually listened. Like it's all my fault." Let out bitter laugh. Sound doesn't even seem human. "You keep saying that. Like it justifies everything. Like it makes lying okay? If you felt alone, why didn't you talk to me? Instead of sneaking around with him?" Questions just pouring out. "Because you wouldn't have listened." She yells. Voice echoes off walls. Can hear her frustration. Finally boiling over too. "You never listen to me, Andrew. You just brush me off. Act like everything I say is some overreaction or nagging. Maybe if you didn't hide everything behind fake smiles and I'm fine crap, I wouldn't have had to play mind reader." Shot back immediately, voice rising with each word. "You can't blame me for not fixing problems. You never brought up." Line goes silent. Dead quiet. Could hear clock ticking. For a moment thought she might have left, but then she speaks, voice trembling. Like earthquake, with what I assumed was anger or guilt. Maybe both at once. "So what now? You're just going to leave? Abandon your family? Using kids as weapon again." "I'm not abandoning kids. Say it level as possible. Fighting for control, but I can't stay with you. Not right now. Not until I figure out what the hell is even left of us, if anything at all." Another long silence follows. Feels like forever. When she finally speaks, voice low and strained, almost threatening. "Andrew, please. If you leave, this will get out of control. People will find out, and they'll think you're the bad guy in all this." Like she's warning me. That's when it hits me, like ton of bricks. She's not worried about losing me. Not really. She's worried about losing control of the narrative of her perfect image. Still trying to manipulate story to protect herself. Her reputation. Realization stings. Burns like acid, but also gives me strange sense of clarity. Finally seeing truth. People will think what they want. Reply calmly but firmly. Voice steady now. "I'm not staying in lie. Just to protect your reputation, Christine." Words feel final. She doesn't say anything. Just stands there. Silence stretches on, gets heavier, until finally hang up, end conversation. Feel like just severed, final thread. That was holding me. To the past. No going back now. Later that evening, tell Thomas about call. Need someone to talk to. He just nods. You did what you had to do. He says simply, no judgment, just support. That night, sit on back porch of Thomas's house. Can't sleep anyway. Watching sunset. Over neighborhood. Everything looks different. Sky painted with shades of red and gold. Like world on fire. Fading slowly. Into deep blue. As stars start to appear. One by one, feels like world moving on. Without me, life keeps going. That night as darkness settles, everything gets quiet. Stay on Thomas's back porch. Watching stars blink to life. Each one a reminder. Mind caught between two different worlds. Past and future. Life I thought I had, and reality I'm facing. Only just starting. To accept it all, truth finally sinking in. House feels quiet. Too quiet. Almost like lull. Before the storm. Calm before chaos. Know I made right decision. No doubt about that. But there's this gnawing sense of uncertainty. About what comes next? Future looking unclear. Phone buzzes again. Breaks silent night. This time it's from Victoria, Oliver's wife. That surprises me. Victoria and I weren't close. Barely talked before. But she'd seen everything unfold. Wasn't one to stay silent. Always involved somehow. Her message is short. Almost hesitant. Like she's unsure? I'm so sorry, Andrew. Can't believe she did this to you. If you ever need to talk, I'm here. Offering support. Stare at message for moment. Screen too bright and dark. Feel strange mixture of gratitude and awkwardness. Don't know how to respond. Victoria isn't type. To reach out without reason. Has to be more, wonder what she knows. That I don't? What else she's seen. Type back simple. Thanks, Victoria. Put phone away. Can't deal with more. Idea of talking to her. Feels strange. Too many complications. Too many tangled threads. In this mess already. Don't need more drama. Next morning. Call my lawyer. Hands shaking whole time. Schedule formal consultation. Making it real? When receptionist asks for details. Voice all professional. My stomach twists. Feels like being punched. As I explain basics, try to keep voice steady. Like giving obituary. For marriage that hadn't quite died yet. Still on life support. But was in critical condition. No hope of recovery. Hang up phone. Take deep breath. Try to stay calm. Thomas already at work. By time I finish call. House empty again. Silence in house. Is unnerving now? Can't stand it anymore. Not used to being alone. With thoughts like this, mind keeps racing. Decide to head back to house. Need to face it sometime. Grab few more things. Thomas suggested waiting longer. Said I wasn't ready, but want to get it over with? Like ripping off Band-Aid. Longer I put it off. More likely to lose resolve. Can't let that happen. Pull into driveway. Christine's car parked outside. Sleek silver SUV. Not surprising. Expected her to be there. Knew she would be, probably waiting. Ready with new story. New excuses. Or another attempt. To guilt trip me. More manipulation. Front door slightly ajar. Not fully closed. Sight of it makes me uneasy. Stomach churning. Feels like metaphor. For our broken marriage. Everything exposed. Barely closed. Vulnerable to whatever. Lurking outside. Can't protect anything anymore. Step inside. House eerily quiet. Too quiet. Except for faint ticking. Of that damn clock. Still keeping perfect time. Can hear Christine upstairs. Moving around in bedroom. Probably pacing. Halfway upstairs. When hear unmistakable sound. Of her voice. Clear as day. Speaking quietly into phone. Trying to be sneaky. Freeze on steps. Listen without thinking. Can't help myself. I don't know what to do, Richard. She whispers. Voice full of anxiety. He's getting lawyers involved. I didn't think he'd actually leave. Feel blood drain from head. Face goes cold. Replaced by buzzing anger. Like static in brain. No eavesdropping isn't honorable. Not proud of it, but can't stop listening. Need to hear truth. I tried everything. Christine continues. Voice breaking. But he's not listening anymore. He's just so angry. Like I'm being unreasonable. There's pause. Clock ticking in background. Can imagine Richard. On other end, probably at his desk. Trying to calm her down. Playing savior again. Telling her it wasn't that bad. That she could still fix things. Everything will be fine. Thought makes me sick. Actually nauseous. Christine still turning to him. Even now, after everything exploded, even after getting caught, just stay out of it for now. She says softly. Voice barely audible. If Andrew finds out, we're still talking. It'll only make things worse. Like I'm the problem. That's it. Last straw. That's all needed to hear. More than enough. Turn and walk back downstairs. Each step careful. Footsteps silent as possible. Like ghost in own house. Can't face her right now. Would lose it completely. Not without saying something. I'd regret. Something can't take back. Head to kitchen instead. Moving on autopilot. Grab few more essentials. Whatever I can find. Documents. Some clothes. Basic necessities. Anything might need. In case separation lasts longer than thought. Probably will now. About to leave. Hear her footsteps on stairs. Sound echoes through house. Turn around, and there she is. Face mixture of surprise and pure dread, like seeing ghost. Andrew, she says, voice catches. Voice cracking slightly. I didn't know you were here. I can see that. Reply coldly. Ice in every word. Try keeping anger in check. Hands trembling. I just came to grab some more of my things. Christine's eyes dart to my duffel bag, already half full, her face twisting, with something between guilt and desperation, like cornered animal. Can we please just talk? She asks, taking tentative step forward, testing waters. I think you've done enough talking, Christine. Reply sharper than intended. Can't help it. And I heard plenty. She freezes, like statue. See realization dawn. On her face, color draining away. Andrew? It's not what you think. Same old excuse. Stop saying that. Snap back. Voice rising. Feel frustration boiling over. You keep telling me. It's not what I think. But you never actually say what it is. Words pour out. You just dance around truth. Making excuses. And blaming me for not understanding. I'm done trying to understand something you refuse to be honest about. Each word hits target. She takes shaky breath, almost hyperventilating, eyes welling up with tears, starting to overflow. I just needed someone to talk to, she repeats, like broken record, as if she could convince me through sheer repetition. I never meant for it. To get this far, voice pleading now. Get this far? Echo bitterly. Taste bile in mouth. You mean lying to me? Sneaking around with Richard? And then trying to cover it up? Even after you got caught? Each word like bullet. It wasn't like that, she insists, still denying, voice breaking completely. You weren't there, Andrew. You don't understand how hard it was. Playing victim again. I wasn't there because you never let me be there. Christine, interrupt immediately. Can't take more lies. Voice rising despite. Best efforts to stay calm. You shut me out. Lied to my face, and then turned to someone else. Instead of dealing with problems we had, marriage we had, because I didn't think you cared, she yells back. Voice echoes off walls. Voice trembling with emotion. You were so wrapped up in work and everything else that you never saw me. Andrew, I felt invisible, like I didn't matter to you anymore. Last words barely whisper. Stare at her, can't look away. Trying to process words. She's throwing at me. Each one hits hard. Part of me wants to believe her. Against better judgment, want to see her as hurt. Lonely wife she's portraying. The victim in all this, but can't shake memory of her in that shed with Richard, still so fresh, her dismissive tone. When I confronted her, how cold she was, her constant attempts to spin blame onto me, make me the villain. Maybe I wasn't best husband, admit quietly. Words taste bitter. But that doesn't excuse what you did. She doesn't respond right away. Time stands still, just stands there, shoulders slumped. Defeat written on face, tears running down cheeks, makeup completely ruined. Can see cracks in her facade, mask finally slipping. Weight of everything finally crashing down. Reality hitting hard, but instead of feeling sympathy like I used to, just feel tired. Bone deep exhaustion. Tired of her excuses, tired of being made to feel like villain in my own story, in my own marriage. I'm leaving. Say it more firmly this time. No going back. I'm moving forward, Christine. I can't keep doing this. She shakes head vigorously, like child refusing medicine. Takes another step toward me. Andrew, please, she whispers, voice desperate now. We can fix this. I know I messed up, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make it right. Sounds almost sincere. Maybe you are. Reply, feeling final remnants of anger dissolving into pure resignation. But I'm not. She looks like I slapped her, physically recoils, face crumpling with hurt and pure disbelief. Can't process rejection. So that's it? she asks. Voice barely there. Voice barely whisper. You're just going to give up? Like I'm the one quitting. Let out long breath. Feel weight lifting. Feel strange sense of relief. Wash over me. Finally saying it. No, Christine. Say softly. Keep voice steady. I'm just done fighting. For something you already gave up on, walk past her. Don't look back. Not waiting for response. Can't handle more. As reach front door. Hear her sob quietly. Sound echoes. But don't turn around. Won't let her see. Can't look back. Would break resolve. If I did, know I'd see woman. I had once loved. Years ago. Someone who had shared. My life. My dreams. My family. Everything important. But now she's just stranger. Different person. Wearing face of someone. I used to trust. Used to love. Step outside. Close door behind me. Sound feels final. Feel warm breeze hit face. June night air. It's done. Really over. There's no going back now. Point of no return. Drive away from house. Hand steady on wheel. Feel weight of past few days. Starting to lift. Finally breathing again. Little by little. One breath at a time. No road ahead will be rough. No illusions about that. Full of legal battles. Custody talks. Emotional fallout. Sleepless nights. But for first time in long time, feel like I'm in control of my own life. Finally steering ship. Get back to Thomas's place. Place feels different now. He's waiting on porch. Been there whole time. Beer in each hand. Like he knew I'd need it. Doesn't say anything. Doesn't need to. Just hands me one. Cold bottle against palm. Clinks his bottle against mine. Silent understanding. Not celebration. Far from it. But feels like acknowledgement that I'd survived something. Something brutal. And was still standing. Still breathing. You all right? Thomas asks after a while. Voice gruff but kind. Yeah. Reply feeling first real smile. In days creep onto face. I think I'm going to be... Actually mean it. We sit there in silence. Watching stars come out. Summer night settling in. And for once, quiet doesn't feel so heavy. Can actually breathe. Feels like new beginning. A hard one. Painful one. Most difficult thing ever. But beginning nonetheless. Fresh start maybe. Days following final conversation. With Christine. Our strange mix of relief and pain. Both battling inside. Moving on proving harder than just physically leaving house behind. Much harder. Like trying to rebuild life. While dragging ruins of old one behind you. Can't quite let go. Kids still at grandparents' place. Safe for now. They don't know full story yet. Can't bring myself to tell them. Dread inevitable moment. When I'll have to sit down and explain to them. Why daddy isn't coming home. Why everything's changed. My lawyer Margaret. Found her through friend. Turns out to be no-nonsense woman. In her mid-50s. Gray hair and tight bun. Has this air about her of calm authority. Like she's seen it all. Makes you feel like everything is manageable. Even when it isn't. Even when world's falling apart. She doesn't waste time. Sugarcoating anything. Gets straight to point. As soon as sit down. In her office. Modern place downtown. She lays out hard facts. Cold reality. Need to gather financial records. Prepare for custody arrangements. Start documenting everything. Brace myself for Christine's potential attempts. To control narrative. To spin story her way. You've got to protect yourself. Andrew, she says, voice firm but sympathetic. If she's been lying about the affair, there's good chance she'll try to twist this. In her favor, when things get messy, when not if messy. Perfect word. That was perfect word. For all of this, describes everything. The more I uncover, the messier it gets. Like pulling threads, everything unraveling. Night before meeting kids, Thomas and I talk strategy. Over late dinner, pizza getting cold, neither really eating. He warns me to be careful about what I say to them. Choose words wisely. They're going to be confused, maybe even angry. He cautions, speaking from experience, poking at his salad. With fork, like it personally offended him. Won't even look at me. But don't badmouth Christine. No matter how tempting it is, they need to figure out their own feelings about her without you adding fuel to the fire. Truth hits hard. Yeah, mutter back, voice barely working. Push food around on plate. Can't eat anyway. But what if they ask? Dreading answers. Thomas leans back in chair. Lets out heavy sigh. Been here before. You're their dad, Andrew. You just have to be honest. Without poisoning their view of their mom. It's a tight rope. But you can walk it. Makes it sound simple. Nod knowing he's right. Doesn't make it easier. But dreading moment nonetheless. Coming too soon. Feels so angry with Christine. Blood still boiling. But kids don't deserve to be caught in that storm. They're innocent. They're innocent in all this. Just casualties. Next day, drive to parents' house, hands shaking whole way. Feel like heading to my own execution. Heart and throat. Mom meets me at door, eyes full of worry, with sad smile and tight hug. Squeezes too hard, whispers in my ear. Just be patient, honey. They're confused. Like I'm not. Walk into living room. Heart pounding. My daughter Lily looks up. From her coloring book, Disney Princesses. She's 8 years old. Has same big eyes as Christine. Can barely look at them. Eyes that used to make me feel at home, safe and loved. But now only remind me of what I've lost. What we all lost? She smiles when sees me. Tries to anyway, but there's hesitation in it. Like she's not sure how to feel anymore. Everything's different now. Daddy! My son Jack shouts, voice still innocent. Runs up to hug me, nearly knocks me over. He's 5, still believes in magic. The way he throws himself into my arms, like nothing has changed. Like world's still perfect. Breaks something inside me, heart shatters again. Kids have this way of thinking everything can be fixed. If they just love you enough, if they try hard enough, wish it were that simple. More than anything. Hey, buddy. Say forcing smile. Try to sound normal. How about we all sit down? For a minute? Voice almost breaks. Lily puts her crayons down. Pink one last. Looking between me and my parents. Reading room, who had quietly retreated. Into kitchen. Giving us space, she's already piecing things together in that way. Kids do when adults around them start acting weird. Too smart for her age? What's wrong, Daddy? She asks. Voice small and hesitant. Already knows answer. This is part I'd rehearsed 100 times in my head. Every possible word. But still feel unprepared. Completely lost. Listen, guys. I need to talk to you about something important. Voice shaking slightly. Mommy and I, we're going to be living in different houses for a while. Words feel like stones. Lily's eyes widen, fill with tears already. Jack just stares at me, confused, too young to understand. Why? Lily asks, voice almost whisper. Breaks my heart. This was part I'd practiced. Most in my head. Still hurts worse. Mommy and I are having some problems, and we need some time apart to figure things out. Explain as gently as possible. Try to stay calm, but we both love you so much, and that's never going to change. Voice almost breaks. Jack doesn't seem to grasp. Full meaning, still innocent. Just tilts his head. Like confused puppy. Are you coming home soon? Daddy? Question hits hard. Swallow hard. Try to keep emotion. Out of voice, almost impossible. Not right now, buddy. But you'll still see me a lot, okay? And you can always call me whenever you want. Promise feels hollow. Lily's eyes fill with tears, already falling. Are you and Mommy getting a divorce? She asks, voice trembling. Word divorce feels so heavy. Coming from her tiny mouth, too young for this. She's carrying burden she doesn't deserve. Too much weight. Pause for a moment. Not wanting to lie, but also not wanting to give her more pain than she can handle, than anyone could handle. I don't know yet, Lily. Admit quietly, voice barely steady. We're just trying to figure out what's best for all of us. Hate saying those words. She wipes her eyes. Small hands trembling. Nods but doesn't say more. Understanding too much? Jack still not understanding. Full gravity of situation. Blissfully unaware. Just asks if he can go back. To coloring. World still simple for him. Nod and he happily runs back. To his crayons. Back to innocence. Oblivious to storm. Raging around him. Wish I could be too. When Lily hugs me goodbye, she whispers, Please don't leave us, Daddy. Voice breaks completely. Takes every ounce of strength. Not to break down. In front of her. Stay strong somehow. I'm not leaving you? Sweetheart. Promise holding her close. Like protecting her. I'll always be here for you. I promise. Mean every word. After that, drive back to Thomas's house. In complete silence. Radio stays off. Conversation had been as painful as expected. Maybe worse. But it was necessary step. Had to be done. Couldn't keep hiding from reality of what was happening. And neither could kids. Truth had to come out. Get back to Thomas's place. Feels empty somehow. Find voicemail from Christine. Waiting on my phone. Red light blinking. Hesitate for moment. Hand shaking. Before listening to it. Have to force myself. Already bracing myself. For whatever she has to say, whatever new excuse, her voice is cold. Almost robotic. Completely different. Like she's reading from script. Practiced every word. Andrew, I just got off phone. With Victoria. Of course she did. She told me you've been meeting with lawyers. She says, tone more accusatory. Than worried. Are you really doing this? Are you seriously going to drag our family through court just to make some point? Like it's all about her. Take deep breath. Try to stay calm. Count to 10. Victoria must have seen me leaving Margaret's office. Small town gossip. Mentioned it to Christine. News travels fast here. It wasn't surprising. Should have expected it. Small towns like ours thrive on gossip, feed on drama. But way Christine framed it was infuriating. Makes blood boil. Like I was doing this to punish her, to hurt her, rather than protect myself. And kids, protect what's left. Message continues, her voice growing colder. With each sentence, ice in every word. If you're going to push for divorce, then we need to talk. About custody. Voice turns threatening. I won't let you. Just take them away. From me, Andrew. Like I'd ever do that. You're not going to turn kids against me. Pure venom in words. Clench fists. Knuckles white. Nails digging into palms. Almost drawing blood. She still doesn't get it. Completely clueless. This isn't about taking kids away from her. Never was. It's about protecting them. From fallout of her choices. From her actions. But trying to explain that to Christine. Like trying to reason. With brick wall. Nothing gets through. She's too wrapped up in her own self-preservation. Can't see past herself. To see damage she's doing. To everyone around her. To whole family. Delete voicemail. Without responding. Can't trust myself. Not going to let her drag me into another argument. Another fight. Need to stay focused on what matters. What's important. The kids. My own mental health. Getting through this with as little collateral damage as possible. If that's even possible, next few weeks are complete blur. Time loses meaning of meetings with lawyers. Endless paperwork. Tense phone calls with Christine. Getting worse. And long sleepless nights. Can't rest anymore. Replaying everything. Over and over in head. Like broken record, Lily gets quieter. During our calls, voice barely there. While Jack seems blissfully unaware of storm brewing between his parents, still laughs same way. Christine's attempts to manipulate narrative don't stop. Getting worse daily, but I'm learning to see through them more easily now, like fog lifting one day while packing. Rest of my things at house. Feels foreign now. Victoria shows up at front door. Unexpected visit. She looks uncomfortable, shifting on feet, wringing her hands as she waits for me to answer. Can't meet my eyes. Hey, Victoria. Say, trying to keep voice neutral. What's up? Already know. She shifts on feet, looking like she'd rather be anywhere but here. Guilt written on face. Andrew, I wanted to apologize for not telling you sooner, she says, voice barely above whisper, almost crying. About Christine and Richard. I saw things, but didn't want to get involved. Words tumble out. I didn't want to believe it. Not appreciating her honesty. Too late now, even though it doesn't change anything. Can't change past. It's not your fault. Victoria. Reply, trying to sound more forgiving than I feel. For everyone's sake, I probably wouldn't have believed it either. Back then, bitter truth. She lets out shaky breath, almost like sob. You're a good guy, Andrew. You didn't deserve any of this. Voice full of pity. Thanks. Say not knowing. What else to say? Words feel empty. The words feel hollow. But no, she means well. Trying to help. She hesitates. Like she wants to say more. Has more secrets. But I don't want to dwell on it anymore. Can't take more truth. After she leaves, stand in doorway of what used to be my home. Feels like museum now. Taking in emptiness, everything changed. It feels like museum of life that no longer belongs to me. Someone else's memories. There are reminders everywhere. Can't escape past. Pictures still on wall. Happy faces mocking me. Furniture we picked out together. Every shopping trip. Little details that hold. Memories I'm not ready to face yet. Maybe never will be. Take one last look around. Memorize everything before closing door behind me. Sound echoes finality. Time to let go. No choice really? As drive back to Thomas's place. Feel strange mix of grief and hope. Both fighting inside. Morning life I thought I had. Life I planned. The future I had planned with Christine. All gone now, but also starting to see new possibilities. Light ahead maybe. Moving forward feels strange. Like learning to walk again. Drive back to Thomas's place. Mind running mile a minute. Can't slow thoughts. The anger's still there, never really leaves, simmering beneath surface. Like quiet flame, but it's accompanied by something else now. Something different. Determination. Getting stronger. I'm not going to let Christine control narrative. Not anymore. Not going to let her drag me into her web of half-truths and guilt trips. Done with manipulation. Done letting her manipulate me. Breaking free finally. Get to Thomas's house. He's waiting outside, like he knows, leaning against his truck, arms crossed, silent guardian. He doesn't say anything. When I pull up, doesn't need to, just gives me nod. That says everything I need to hear. Got your back. I've got your back. All that matters now. Get out of car. Walk over to him. Legs steady now. Feel strange sense of solidarity. Not alone anymore. Thomas doesn't bombard me with questions or advice. Knows better. Just asks, you ready to move on? From this? Yeah. Say voice steady. Finally sure. I think I am. Actually mean it. Thomas claps me on shoulder. Brotherly support, we go inside, new chapter starting.